Our very next guest was the U.S. Ambassador to the European Union from 2018 to 2020 under Donald Trump. And he was also a key witness for Democrats during Trump's 2019 House impeachment inquiry. He was fired by Trump 2 days after the impeachment trial was over. And now he says he's voting for Trump. Welcome to Newsline, Gordon Sondland. Ambassador, it is good to have you with us today.
Thanks, Bianca. It's nice to be with you.
You went viral last week for an exchange you had on MSNBC. I'd like to play that to refresh our viewers' memories. You were on the show with Ari Melber saying that you're now going to be voting for Trump, and this was what you faced.
I've now lived 4 years under the Biden-Harris policies, and I have to say that those policies are not only becoming an existential threat to our country's way of life, but to our allies as well.
So when you
and it has to.
Ambassador, I'll let you finish, but this is so striking.
So I know you were cut off. They probably didn't like what you were saying or expect what you were saying. You were sitting next to Peter Navarro, who I think was very happy to see what your thoughts were. But you think you'll be invited back on that show anytime soon?
I actually have been invited back.
Okay, well, that's good. How hard was it for you to say that? I mean, it's a full turn of events, but obviously you feel passionately about where our country is going, and with the experience you have, existential threat. I don't think those are words you throw around lightly.
Well, I said an existential threat to our way of life. I didn't say an existential threat to our country. Our country has survived far worse than Kamala Harris and Joe Biden, and hopefully will continue to do so. But no, I don't throw the words around lightly, and thank you for picking up on that. Look, you have to put January 6th into perspective. I was not pleased by January 6th. It was not our finest hour. I do believe, sadly, that President Biden won the election. Were there voting anomalies? Absolutely. Did they amount to enough to change the outcome of the election? Sadly, no. President Biden won. That having been said, I look at things through a different lens 4 years later. While I'm upset by the events of January 6th, they're far eclipsed by what the Biden-Harris administration have put us through as a country, and will put us through even more and more dramatically if Vice President Harris is elected president.
Let's dig in a little bit there, because Elon Musk had said over the weekend how important it was for the First Amendment, for there not to be censorship. As obviously as someone who took over and has been hammered since, buying Twitter. He believes that this is the last election if we don't have it. So yes, the country will survive, but in what way, shape, or form? The way of our nation, as you say. But Kamala Harris was pushed on the way she became the top of the ticket. I want to play this exchange with CBS 60 Minutes because she hasn't done a lot of sit-downs. I want you to tell me what you think of this answer.
You didn't have to go through a primary process. You didn't have to fight off other contenders. That's not really the way our system was intended to work.
I am proud to have received the endorsement of leaders around this country.
I think this truncated process is why people think or say they don't really know who you are.
Look, I've been in this race for 70 days.
So Kamala Harris was, many say, just installed. And whether or not you are personally aligned with Trump, and like you said, you've had exceptions with him, it's something about the way this democratic process played out that doesn't sit well with some Americans.
Well, let's talk about the elephant in the room. The Democrats knew that late in the game, when Joe Biden stepped down, that they had to consolidate around someone and do it quickly. They have far more qualified candidates than Kamala Harris, men and women, to run for president of the United States, that frankly are better known to the American people. But they picked Kamala Harris for a variety of reasons that were largely cynical and expedient, not because she was the best qualified candidate. And of sit-down interviews, I'm not running for anything. And I've done more sit-down interviews in the last 6 weeks than she has.